And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Believe it or not, Friday has arrived. The weekend is around the corner. I'll tell you about the latest with hurricane activity as we're officially into that season this morning. You ever find yourself yawning for, no reason at all? I've been up for 3.5 hours or better. Still yawning. I'll try not to do that because it's the most contagious thing I think I've ever seen. I don't know what you mean. You sit in the doctor's office and all it takes, especially the dentist office, all it takes is one person to yawn and it goes around the room. I have no explanation for it other than I really think it's contagious. I'm sure you feel the same way. Pamela, how are you today? Janice, good to see you up also. Richard Nelson, salute. Good to see you with us as well. Miss Dot, also Becky Vickers getting up and into the action. We've got your forecast, a lot of things going on as we'll start the morning show at 7 o'clock, give you the latest of what's happened in the local headlines. In a few moments, we'll talk about national headlines, what's shaking up America this morning as you wake up. We'll go over that. Right now, let's go to Collinsville and get a good word. Brother Ben's got a little message for us today.
If there's one thing that Americans love to talk about, it's freedom. But if there's one thing that Americans don't really understand biblically, it's freedom. We typically think that true freedom is the ability to do whatever we want. I'm free if I can choose this or I can choose that. But if one of those things that we choose is sin, then the Bible says that's not freedom. It's actually slavery. Jesus declared this in John 8 when he said, "Truly, truly, I say to you, everyone who practices sin is a slave to sin." So true freedom is not found in the ability to choose sin. It's found in the ability to refuse sin. That's why God, who cannot sin, is the freest being in the universe. That's also why the Holy Spirit in James 2:12 calls God's moral law the law of liberty. If you and I choose to follow God's law of morality, which calls us to choose righteousness over what's sinful, we will experience what true freedom is. His moral laws lead to liberty. The devil and those under his influence will tell us otherwise, but they're liars and it's a trap. Follow God's moral law of liberty, and then you'll be free indeed. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And change does begin in you. I hope you enjoyed that message. Again, they'll have church services on Sunday morning. If you need a place to go, drop in. Maybe you just want to visit. They'd love to have you as a guest at the church. Well, as we start this, and I had to really think back on this as to what movie to compare this to. At first, I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. What was that, The Terminator? To where computers turn against humans. All right, you heard us talking about AL this week, or AL, artificial AI is what it is. And let me back up on that. It's AI. But it's artificial intelligence to where they're going to use it at Wendy's where it takes your orders, and there's many other things. They've been using it in the U.S. government for quite some time. They did a simulation, and I'm sure it hurt many to have to admit this, but a U.S. drone that was controlled by AI turned on the operator and took the operator out because, it didn't like getting new orders. Think about that. A machine built by humans turns on them in a simulation. Again, a simulation. You'll see this story several times today. But it turns back and takes out the guy that's controlling. That really is like a movie. I think that was Terminator, if I remember right. But I bet they really didn't want to tell that. That makes that whole program kind of worthless, doesn't it? By now, maybe you've heard this. If not, this is this sad news as we see so many people. And it's not the fact that everybody needs a job. It's the fact that people want to stay active. As Walmart got rid of them, but do you remember the doorkeepers, the people, the greeters? Well, Home Depot has several jobs that are similar to that. An 83-year-old man was there. Guy was stealing stuff, and he asked for his receipt as he walked out the door. He pushed the elderly gentleman down, and he has died from his injuries from the fall. He'll be charged with murder and stealing now. All for what? 3 power washers. That man lost his life. It is not the gentleman that asked for the receipt's fault. Let's get that straight before somebody changes the narrative on this. Stealing is wrong. We've gotten to where in America to where it's under $1,000. Well, it's no big deal. Well, it is to the business owner. and it is to every other hardworking American that does their job. When are we going to have, because we've got the laws already. I'm not going to tell you when we're going to pass laws to make this stuff to where it stops it. No, we've already got them. We need judges. We need a judicial system that puts a halt to this, that makes examples of people to where, well, you see that happen, you don't want to do it. At this point in time in America, they see it and they go, well, nothing's going to happen to me, and they continue doing crime. It just keeps going and going. Do you remember the mayor that was real light on crime? Mayor Lightfoot, Chicago. She done nothing, actually. Well, this should make you feel good. She's going to be teaching your students at Harvard now. And then you wonder why going to college, they come out sometimes thinking differently than when they went in. That's just one example of what's out there. There's never anything wrong, remember this, of having a trade. There's many millionaires that are built upon trades. Just because you don't have a college education doesn't mean that you're not smart. It's wonderful to have a college education, but it worries me from time to time of the people that are teaching our children. Are they getting the right message still? Some of you will agree with that statement, some of you won't. Love to hear your argument on that. More than welcome to post that if you like. Were you a Paul Newman man? Cool Hand Luke. He was just the ultimate, I guess you'd say, masculine man's man in America. A lot of his things are going up for auction. If you'd like to own one of his Rolexes or the many different helmets that he had, he loved racing. All of that's going up for auction. If you're a big fan of Paul Newman, I liked him. I really did. He always set a good example. I think he was married to the same lady like for 30, 40, long time. Love of his life. Now, I'm not sure if Odie over here to my right was forced to watch this, but for many years of my marriage, it was horrible. I had to sit and watch it. And I'm sure there's a lot of men that agree with me this morning that had to sit and watch those people with 19 kids and counting. It was horrible, but you had to sit there because, well, your wife liked it. Yep. Jim Bob and the Family, as we found out, and the show went away after all of the news came out about the son that had that little issue. It looks as though Amazon is doing a special on this of a behind the scenes. They're going to do the tell-all to where Jim Bob and all of those kept trying to keep it quiet about what he'd done to one of the children. It's a tell-all, and one of the daughters is going to tell her side of it. I didn't know that he wouldn't allow the kids to get paid. I'm not sure whether he was getting their paycheck from the TV show, but he wouldn't allow them to take the money. All of that's coming out very soon, and they're trying to throw a little damp in it, so to speak. Jim Bob is. Wasn't he an insurance salesman or something?
Something like that, didn't he? He got in a little bit of trouble too, didn't he?
The daddy, did he? Yeah. I didn't think Dad did. Odie's thinking he did. He may have. We'll have to, because I know there's a lot of people that watch that show. There's a lot of men that know the answer to this, like me, who were forced to watch it. Yeah. Y'all know what I mean. Jim Bob, boy, that was some kind of thing. And I can't even imagine what the grocery bill per week, with 4 people now, it's $500-$600 on average. What is it for 19 people to feed?
You got to get your own cow.
Yeah, you'd have to own cow, own pig, own chickens, everything. On the way this morning at 7, we're going to dig deep into this and let you watch the video for yourself. Have you seen your 46th president walk across the stage? If not, we're going to show that for you at 7 o'clock. We've got your forecast coming up next. We'll dig into that and let you know how this weekend is going to be. Don't rush off. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name's Kenneth Graham, and I'm running for coroner of Lauderdale County. For over 50 years, Lauderdale County's been represented by professional and competent coroners. I would like to continue that tradition. Over the next several months, I want to educate the public on what the coroner does and dispel any myths about the coroner job. I can show you that I will be the most professional coroner there is. So please vote for me August the 8th.
Paid for by the Committee for the Election of Kenneth Graham. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as your build-in. are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
No matter how many times you try, and no matter where you call, Representative 81 Steve Horn won't answer the phone. We're not getting any representation in Jackson. District 81, we can do better. Vote Ben Shirley, August the 8th. Paid for by Ben Shirley.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Back in the day, there are record highs and record lows. 2011, can y'all believe that was 12 years, 10 years ago? Yeah, 11 years ago as we look at this. 99 on this date as we go back to 1984. And again, 84 hung with us all week for the record breaker. 47 on this day back in 1984. As we bounce to today to take a look at what is going to happen in the area, we see that Meridian is going to be about 90 degrees, and we do have a chance of a sprinkle up north. As we look at Philadelphia hitting 89 all the way up through Noxapater, we'll even get Columbus Air Force Base at 89. Sunshine throughout the area for the majority part, even to the south, 91 in Hattiesburg. Out to our west, we'll hit 90 in Vicksburg also. As we go east into Bamaland, we'll see 89 in Demopolis, and right at 89 there in Livingston. As you go toward Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, thin line, 89 or 90 as well. We'll just call it that for the entire area today. As we look across the nation, we're normal here in Mississippi, Louisiana, and most of Alabama. Cool front to our west, easing this way from Texas, and it may just dwindle away before it gets here. Hot in South Florida. Look at that. Now, as we look at our 7-day forecast today, we're hitting at 88 to 90 throughout the area. Smidgen of a chance of rain there at 10%. And that's what was popping up on radar in the northern part of Lauderdale County on upward. Bigger chances up toward Columbus Air Force Base. But tomorrow, 91. It'll be great Saturday to get out, a low of 66 as it will be tonight. As we move into Sunday, Church Day will be 92 degrees with a low of only 68. As we begin next week, look at this, June, 90, 92. All throughout the week. Now let's go all the way through. Let's jump into June here through the 16th. We have 1 day, 2 days that will drop below 90 that's forecasted at this point. The 13th and the 9th, otherwise expected to be 91 or 92 with strongest chances of rain there on the 13th and somewhere around the 12th. 12th and 13th, we'll look for that, the biggest chances of rain. As we look at this disturbance that is out there, and we'll talk more about this morning also, this is going to be number 2 here as it comes out. Yep, a tropical depression, and it's headed out from the Gulf of Mexico toward Cuba. One of the first I've seen head that direction. Instead of heading north, is heading south. Caught me off guard on that one. I had to stare at that a moment or two. As we look at our fishing forecast today, your major time fish will be 11 o'clock today until about 1. Perfect lunchtime, 11 until 1 if you can get away. Otherwise, the wind's going to be calm, becoming northeast around 5 this morning. Not a bad forecast as we've got sunshine throughout the weekend. Smidgens of a chance of rain. If we get a small one, that'll just be perfect for the garden, so nothing to worry about. We've got the morning show again kicking off in roughly 10 minutes. We'll go live with the button and go live on air at 7 a.m. straight up. Odie is in the house as we get ready for a Friday edition of the show. Join us. Get your coffee ready. Maybe it's milk you have to have early in the morning. Maybe some eggs. Join us. Beginning here in a few moments, we'll go over all the activities of yesterday and what is coming up this weekend. Join us, won't you? All here at the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.